Hi, Savannah. Happy weekend. Hi, Martian. Just waiting for more people to get in here before we start up. Shout out the Colossus. It's been a really fun game so far. I might actually, like... I kind of want to get The Last Guardian, but it's $20, and I don't have $20. But, like, I kind of want to get it. This is another game by the same people. It's very, like, beautiful and pretty. Okay. Not it being like, hurry up and play, bitch. I didn't even hit anything. Thanks, video game. I'll just load it up so it doesn't do that to me again. Hi, gay. Hi, gay. Welcome in. We're playing Shadow of the Glossy Tits. Of the Kachussi. Shadow of the Colossus! Wait. Making sure my soundboard works. Okay, so if anybody wasn't here last stream, basically the story is meant to, like, confuse you a little bit. It's very, it's like one of those movies that you don't really understand the plot until the end, because everything makes sense at the end. So it's kind of like that. So I can't really explain to you what's really happening. We're just going around killing these Colossus peoples, and then they end up turning into, like, these shadowy bodies that end up here. So we've killed 12, and all of the shadowy bodies stay there. And the reason we're killing these Colossus so far is because we're trying to save our friend that's, like, dying. Or is dead. I'm not sure. I don't really know. You don't know. You just kind of go into this, like, completely unaware. That was not an emote I was going for. Embarrassing. No, it's fine. Seven, I miss you. I hope you're having a great stream. Thank you. I miss y'all, too. I'm hoping to come down for my birthday, so y'all better come out for my fucking birthday. If I don't see you for my birthday, I'm gonna slam some pots and pans wherever you're at. Hi, Kirsten. Hi, RuPaul. Asa RuPaul Bizarre. Please. Hi, Miley. Oh, okay, let me just get used to the controls again. Thank God. I was gonna say, if you're not here for my birthday, we're gonna have a problem. Hi, kitten. As long as you are. Period, bestie. You better snap. You better fall asleep.
Agro.
Agro. So this is our horse, Agro. And like I just said, we are going around killing these Colossus people. They're like giant monsters. We don't know why, we're just trying to save our friend. No, because you're lying to me. I can't pet him.
Agro.
Oh, you can! Oh! I didn't mean it. I'm sick. Brad, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome in. I like that you can stand up on the horse. If I could do it. Okay. I took a melatonin last night, and I fell asleep for 12 hours. Normally I'd be okay with that, but considering I wanted to wake up at like 5 o'clock, and I woke up at like 7 o'clock, not really about that. Because I would have been ready to go a lot earlier.
Yeah.
That was not the case. I ride my horsey. No idea what this game is, but you're serving and deserve a follow. Thank you so much! So, I'm trying to explain the story, but it's, like, so hard for me to explain the story. You kind of just go around fighting these giant monsters, is basically all I can tell you. And there's 16 of them, so there's 16, like, god/monster things. I probably could have finished this in one stream, but, considering I had the Nintendo Direct and I woke up earlier, that specific stream, I couldn't really see myself going a lot further, and I really wanted to enjoy the ending, so we're gonna finish it today. And I really, 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 really want to play The Last Guardian. It's another game by the same development studio, and it's really beautiful from what I've seen. It's $20 right now. I don't know if I should just take the L and buy the game and play it tonight, or do something else, but, like, it looks so fun. I don't know, like, I love Pokemon, but, like, we played so much Pokemon. We played it for 6 streams. I'm kind of burnt out a little bit. So I'm like, maybe we'll play Oras tonight, maybe we won't, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I saw that, Talos, but I can't play on PC. Like, I have to re-buy everything on PS4, which sucks. And also, none of the WWE games went on sale. I thought was interesting. I was gonna buy some of the WWE games and they didn't go on sale. Good for you, bestie. I'm slaying these monsters. I'm hashtag slaying. It's a really cool, like, I want to say is mythological a word? Mythological. Mythological. What the fuck is the word?
Yeah.
It's like, it's that. No, because WWE is a serve. Oh, you come to the right place, because I'm a WWE stan. I talk about it all the time. You got it. I got it. I still have to edit my Royal Rumble video, but it's just, like, not in the cards for me. Gassing and wigging. Almost 2 years, Mia. Can you believe that? That's a little gay. Just a little gay. OMG, Mia. OMG, it's Mia. Can you go faster, horse, please? Them in their Minions era. I want to let you know that, like, literally the entirety of the drag community here in Providence, like, my personality from 2017 to 2019 before I moved to New York was sexy Minions. Like, I would always talk about Minions. I would always bring, like, a plushy Minion to the club. Like, it was the meme of the night. Like, I would dress up in yellow and blue as, like, a joke sometimes. Other people were sexy. It was, like, the thing. If you ask anyone in Providence how to describe me early drag days, it was, like, sexy Minion was my joke. I'd be like, haha, I'm a sexy Minion. I'm not even lying to you. We're coming full circle. I literally, you know what I found the other day? You know what I found? Trying to find the outfit for a photo shoot that I'm gonna do. I found in a box, well, pictures of me and my ex-boyfriend, which is bad. But then a bunch of people, I found a stack of Minion cards. Like, cards that people gifted me because they were like, you like Minions? Here you go. I'm like, what? Jess! How are you doing, baby? Thank you so much for the raid of 51. Anybody coming in off their raid, I'm Nemesis. I hope you know who I am, because Juice is my bestie. How was the stream? What's going on? We're currently playing Shadow of the Colossus. It's like a very fantasy type game. It's very cool, very sexy. And then later we're gonna hop into our Nintendo DS streams and play some Pokemon. You look so pretty, I had to come over. You always look pretty, bestie. Those TikTok transitions and stuff you do, I'm like on my knees like, bestie, please give me a chance. You are always so gorgeous. I can't. Thank you so much for the raid. Oh my gosh, Kate. How are you doing, Kate? Kate, I don't know if you saw, I clipped it. Where did I put? Oh, I think it's under here. Hold on. Riley! We got 11 months from Kate, almost 1 year. Riley, 6 months. Thank you so much, guys. Is it Lai or Lee? You can correct me. What would you prefer? Juicy Raid, welcome in. Or Lay. There's 3 different ways to say it. But you didn't know what vector was from. Shut up, Asa! My friend recommended your stream and they never disappoint, so let me grab my snacks and let's kill some monsters, please. Miley, thank you for 90 biddies. Here it is. Hold on. Kate, don't go anywhere. Look! Kate got me this. How do I play? I don't know how to play it, but I'm gonna learn. I just got lipstick on it. I am a musician. I don't even know how to play the songs. No, that's just lipstick all over it. What's the album, literally? But thank you for that, Kate. Who plays? No! What's there at? That's stunning. We actually just played Ocarina of Time, and we're waiting for Nintendo to release Majora's Mask. RuPaul is gonna steal this next, please. I love you too. Thank you so much. Early birthday gift. You're gonna give me a birthday present on my birthday, and my birthday present. The freckle Zelda. You know I love a freckle. Oh, Miley. Thank you so much for gifting a sub. Thanks everybody for a hype train already. We just started stream. What time is it there for you, Juice? I always am not, like, I'll be, like, still awake when y'all wake up in Canada. And I'm like, hi, everybody. Like, I'll see you, Kiara, Eve, everybody between in the mornings. And I'm like, hi. Okay, TikTok.com, the freckle. Oh, what? That's not even that far off. The freckle. I'm in Australia, so it's actually like 1 p.m. It's not too late. Like, I don't know. It's like just so early. Juice, this person. Oh my god. They are stunning. Ah! I can't. You are... I literally just slept for 11 hours. I took a melatonin and knocked out. Like, I was literally in a coma. 100 biddies from Dell. Thank you so much. The freckle. Yeah. Talos doesn't know what freckles are. I'd explained to Talos what freckles were. He just thought I was doing, like, dusty ray bottom dots on my face. I was like... Ooh, stunning. I mean, definitely that melatonin helped, but, like... I also got this thing from Lush. It's like a body scrub, but it has, like, aromatherapy, and it, like, makes you drowsy. I kind of love it. And it, like, makes my body so smooth and feel so sexy. It's so good. I have to send you it or something. It's so good. And it's, like, really good for sleeping. Like, I knock out when I do it. Get right out of the shower and get right to bed. They were dots. Nope. Me when I lie. So we're riding a horse. Okay. But in all seriousness, I am in Eastern time. So yes, it is late. I think it's the same time there. Yeah. That's so funny. I thought everybody was in a different time zone and we're just in the same time zone. Literally, I love baths. Everybody's a hater on baths. I love doing like, I like lighting candles. I like using body scrubs. I love the aromatherapy. I just love it all. Like, people are like, you're sitting in your own, like, dirt. I'm like, take a shower before you get in the bath. Like, is it that serious? Yeah. Yes, I do remember that. I was like, yeah, I'm just waking up. And you're like, girl, it's like 6 o'clock. My sleep schedule is insane. I need to move to the West Coast or something so I could just be like, yeah, it's not that late. Enjoy your sub, favorite. Okay, I'm afraid of this, like, sand area. Like, I feel like there's gonna be a sand shark that, like, attacks me. The good morning tweets fully at night are my favorite things. Yeah, I'll do good morning. I'll do good night at 9 a.m. and I'll do good morning at 6 o'clock in the afternoon. Oh my god, wait, Juice! I totally forgot. I'm gonna go to that thing that you and Deer are booked at in New York, so we can have a good time. We'll get to meet each other. Yo, what?
What was that?
Thank you so much. Holy shit. That is literally so generous. I have no words, favorite. And this is favorite's first time chatter. No, you like deserve it. Oh, thank you so much. Seriously. Thank you, thank you. No, seriously, thank you. You can lurk all you want. You can do whatever you want for 25 subs. You can slap me across the face. Like, like, geez, thank you. Oh, thank you so much. We're gonna be playing more Borderlands. I had to kind of put it on the side just because, like, if I play a game too much, like, I just get kind of burnt out. So we'll definitely be playing that a little more. But yes, Kate, I am gonna go to that. I had to message Deer because I was like, because it's the day after my sister's birthday, so I was like, am I gonna go? But yeah, I am. But thank you again, favorite, for 25 subs. If you got a gifted sub from favorite, please say thank you, because that is so generous, especially to me, like a little trans non-binary streamer. So I really appreciate it, like really, really do, because sub goal met, 200 for the month. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, being a full-time streamer is really hard, so, like, seriously, thank you so much. Especially where I live, because, like, I don't know if you know this, favorite, because I don't know if you heard in, like, the VODs and stuff, but, like, literally, like, my area where I live in, like, a ghost town in the winter, because it's a beach town. So, like, when I got fired from my job, there's nothing left in the area, so I only have this streaming gig until, like, everything opens in, like, April or May. So I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I was gonna go because it's around my B-Day, but then I know I have to cave and No, you should. Because I used to live near that area, so, like, I really just want to, like, visit my own spots. I want to go, like, get stuff to drink. Like, now that I'm gonna be, when I lived in New York back in the day, I wasn't of age, so I couldn't go to bars, I couldn't go to clubs, I couldn't get a drink, I couldn't do anything, so, like... No, don't be sorry. People like you are why I love doing this. And just anybody coming out, like, the generosity, everybody just... Even if you gift one sub, if you just gift 100 biddies, if you just... Even, like, just sit here, you don't even have to be subscribed, like, it's really generous. Y'all are the reason I get opportunities and stuff. And I might have some opportunities that might be a little major in the future. But I'm not going to jinx anything because, you know, people are horrible. Me hiding in the corner. No, I'm not going to be drinking. Let me rephrase that. Like, I just want to be able to, like, be, because I think I said it the other day, I'm sober, no cigarettes, no weed, no alcohol for 3 months now. 4 months for cigarettes, 3 months for weed and alcohol. So, like, I don't want to do that. But I'm proud of the cigarettes thing, because, like, I think it was at the time that I got, like, thank you. I'm not even playing the game, I'm just, like, talking to chat. Like, hi, everybody. It was the time that I was going through, like, this weird phase of, like, work, and then, like, a bunch of twinks in my DMs, like, ghosting me, and I was like, this is a lot. So, I'm glad that I'm just not doing that. That's so tough. Thank you. My my new addiction is Monster, but I think Monster is better than cigarettes. I didn't even touch Fortnite, please. Things are so hard to quit. I definitely have gone, like, back and forth. I know that's bad, but, like, as long as I can stay off of them, I'm cool. Because, like, I quit for 2 years, and then when the pandemic hit, I was like, oh god. But yeah, I'm very excited for that trip. I was talking to my mom, and my mom was like, so, like, what's your plans for this year? Like, because, like, my mom's fully supportive of, like, content creating, as long as, like, I can at least manage income. So she was like, so what are you gonna do? She's kind of like a momager in a sense. So she's like, are you gonna go to PAX? And I was like, yeah, definitely. She's like, are you gonna go to this one show in July? And I was like, I don't really know yet. Probably. I have to look at, like, Airbnbs and hotels. Me and Kate get a place together. Besties. I do perform. I don't perform a lot, though, because, like, it's, like, it's gonna sound, like, bad, but, like, in Rhode Island and in Massachusetts, a lot has been, like, there's more rules and stuff to shows now. Like, a lot of the shows are, like, the people that have performed there. There's not open stages as much anymore. And then a lot of places have gotten shut down. So, like, because the clubs are very, like, small here. I know that's, like, kind of the thing, like, usually, but, like, they're really small here. Like, mine could be, like, a closet. But I performed, I want to say the last time was, December? And I was going to get my own show here, but COVID numbers! But yeah, I don't do top 40. I definitely don't like doing top 40. I like doing, like, more punk, more, like, Sleeping with Sirens, like, I want to say, like, old Paramore, because they kind of went into, like, a pop direction. I don't know. I like doing, like, rock music. I'm not, like, a choreo girl. I'm more, like, hair flip, shake my ass, dick out, having a good time. I didn't see that coming. I know, it's weird, is it not? I never really thought of it like that. Yeah, I mean, when it comes to, like, performing, like, you kind of need to know, well, bass is, like, knowing the words. So, like, for me, when it's a pop song, a lot of pop songs, I want to say I'm more, in my adulthood, I got more into pop. When I was, like, high school, I was nonstop listening to, like, rock music, alternative, like, Warped Tour music. So, like, I know all of the words to those songs because they're embedded in my brain from high school. So that's why I like performing those, because, like, I know the words, I know the beats, I know everything, so it's a little easier to perform for. But that's just my opinion. Because it's more comfortable when you know the words and you know the song, opposed to, like, you're learning the music before the song and like you're stressing out about it. Hi Daniel. Hi House. Good morning. Happy Lady Camden hours. Happy Lady Camden hours. I do the smirk. I can't smirk like her. But anybody coming in, we are just chatting right now because we got a huge raid and we got so many gifted subs. So, thank you for joining. Anybody that's just coming in, we are playing Shadow of the Colossus. Shadow of the Colossus is a fantasy, mythological, if that's the right word, kind of game. You defeat these giant, huge monsters. We're trying to save someone, so we have to sacrifice all these Colossi. Oh, thank you, Miley, for gifting a sub to Juice. I appreciate it. Okay, Iconic, I have to head to bed. I am old, but have the best stream, cutie. See you in New York. I know, I'm so excited. I can't wait to meet you. We're gonna have such a good time. We'll have, like, french fries or something, whatever you want to eat together. It'll be so fun. Or is your character the monster? Yeah, I've heard whispers in the wind of this theory. But yeah, we're gonna keep playing. If I can find where to go. And if I can focus on the game. As I keep just, like, talking. I don't remember what the hint was. Is this it right here? Oh, it is. Hello? I knew there was gonna be a sand monster snake thing! I called it! Ew. No, that's a monster. My character isn't the monster, that's a monster. Just living life. Okay, well, I'll make sure it's gonna look at me with its red eyes and it's gonna start attacking me. Then you tell me who's living life. Then you tell me. It's bothering me. Me too, Diamond Dave. And you with your sword. Gulp. Thanks for coming out, everybody. I can't believe we got 25 gifted subs. We met our sub goal. We got a raid as soon as we started stream. Thank you all so much. And especially from Juice. So happy to see Juice here for a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, I run towards it. Hello? 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 I'm down here! Notice me! Okay, there we go. We are just a little guy. Yeah, literally. That's a really big horse, or your character's the world's tiniest man, please. Just a little guy. I only just found you yesterday on TikTok and I am obsessed with your vibes. Oh, thank you so much, Savage. Yeah, my TikTok's kind of just like the algorithm was really helping the other day, so I appreciate you coming out. Just a little chapstick, oh yeah, yeah. Okay, so like, what do you do in this scenario? Is my question.
Yeah.
Hello? I want to be friends, but like, not great friends, but like mutuals on Twitter. Because you kind of scare me. Did you fight the 10th one? Yeah, this is our 12th. We have 4 remaining. 3 after this one. I probably could have finished it. I probably could have finished it last stream, but I was just really tired after the direct. I think it has something to do with these things. I'm not sure. Okay, maybe I lied. What do y'all think I have to do? Wait! Not I think you have to kill it. Yeah, no shit. I forgot I ordered these. Mozzarella sticks. Oh, did I pop it? Hit the white bubble. Okay. Noted.
Yeah! Yeah!
Not deflate him. That's so mean. I give you one because I'm probably not going to finish them. Oh, we're deflating his little boobies. Work done. Mozzarella sticks. Smile emoji. Is he okay? I don't think he's okay. Barky! Thank you so much for the sub. Why is he just like frozen? Do you see him? He's like T-posing. Oh, we gotta go get him. Oh no, we're gonna miss it. We're gonna miss it. Ah! Ah! We're on board. I don't know if we're on board successfully. He's falling for you. I have that effect on people. Ah! Take this! This Colossus has huge gender envy for me. So true. Hi, Zeno. Bajarty Bags and Zeno have resubscribed! Oh my god! We're doing flips! Helicopter, helicopter. Where's your next PP point? I found it. Oh, I'm falling! Oh, he put it back in. He talked. He went. Oh, no, 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 no! I die. I popped his titties. I feel bad. Not the boobies. That was probably expensive. Thank you all for the resubscriptions tonight. Thank you. When I take breaks from streaming, I get a little anxious, so I appreciate everybody coming back. I know it was just a couple days, but what is happening? What is that noise? Where did it even go? Like scary movie, please. I feel like if you haven't seen those movies, there's a problem. Those movies are classics. Like, Anna Faris is the epitome of comedy for me. Like, she is so iconic. There he is. Ugh. I don't know where I'm going. The horse just shit. Cindy, the Colossi is leaking! Bejard. Barky Bejard. No, I want a mozzarella stick before you crash into the ground. So you can wait. Wait, I want a mozzarella stick. No! I can't eat a mozzarella stick and drive! I'm not gonna make it. It's the damn mozzarella stick got me, gal. Oh! I can't do, ow! Wow. It's, I die. Mozzarella stick out to get me. I was choked on a mozzarella stick on the live. What the fuck? I wait for it to ascend. Waiting airplane emoji. Jump! Ow! Music is beautiful. I like the music. Did a full 180. Crazy. I like this sweater, Nemesis. Thank you so much, House Music. Thank you so much. You are so nice. No, it's gonna squish me! Oh no, we could have done it in one cycle! I fall off and die when I land on my horse. Damn. Imagine if I landed on my horse. That would be such a power bitch move. Hi, Serena. Oh my god, I really choked on that mozzarella stick. That is so embarrassing. I'm chowing down. Also, I will be announcing when my birthday subathon is very soon. So if you want to join the Discord, if you want to follow all my socials, go ahead and do that. We're going to be having a 24-hour subathon. I sleep on stream. I take my wig off on stream. I do it all. for the sake of hopefully funding a new PC, because my PC is currently dying. Also, if you want to donate to the PC fund, you can go over and do !PC. I appreciate all donations. I know subs only take 50% of your donation, so I made a crowd fund. If you want to donate to that, you can do that with the link provided. My birthday is March 11th, but I think I'm gonna do it earlier than my birthday so I can take my birthday off. I'm not sure yet. I haven't really decided what route I want to go under. It's like, do I stream on my birthday and do birthday stuff before, or do I do... I'd probably rather stream on my birthday, because more people would be able to interact. I just really haven't figured it out. I got some other stuff to deal with before I do that. House music is trolling me. Mods, help. Thin ice. Thin ice. I'm being trolled. Oh, oh! You look so pretty. Thanks, Serena. How you doing? Happy to see ya, bestie. Oh, oh no! Oh my god. Okay, we're good. Please calm down. Wait, this is it. Go back! Go back! Oh, no. It's on the 11th. I mean, you should know that, maybe. Work on that. My birthday's on the 11th. I have this game. I want to play The Last Guardian! I think I'm gonna buy it after this. Oh, there's one at the front? Oh. Oh! Oh, no! No, it's okay. I accept your apology this time. This time. Hi, Artie. I don't know if I said hi yet, but I'm gonna say hello now. No! Poopy stinky. Fuck. But yeah, I was in House's stream the other day. Also, shout out to House Music. They're fucking hilarious. You were cracking me up the other day. We were talking about how Tiny Tina and Kirby released the same day. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna be a dead body. I'm probably gonna stream for 12 hours. It's gonna be nuts. And you know what else? You know what else? Another game comes out that day. 3 games come out that day. I don't know what the third game is, but 3 do. Bless you. Thank you. I'm trying to think of what the other game was that I was... Tiny Tina and Kirby come out the 24th, right? I think it's the 24th. It's definitely the 24th. I'm not wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm deleting Twitch. You should, Keishan. You should just get like a little Switch Lite. I thought it was 25th. I swear it's 24th. Rent my Twitch account. God damn it. Okay, I lied then. It's only those two games. There's something coming out on the 24th. I really don't remember what it is that's coming out on the 24th. Am I okay? Hello? Yes! Yes, it's Tokyo Ghostwire. Xeno, you're so sexy. I'm giving you a big kiss. I wanna play that game. Oh, there's not one up here. Uh-oh. What do I do? Uh-oh. 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 Hi, Pisser. Everybody, we have to push Fisher into a little baby closet, and we need to convince him to somehow get me to Chicago, because I want to go to Chicago so bad. Make it happen, Pissa. It's all up to you. Oh, it's right here. Come on. Yes. I will definitely play Mario Kart on the release. Maybe me and House Music will play. Take a shot every time I say me and House are gonna play a game together. Oh my god, Serena, you should, if you don't have Mario Kart, you should get it with the DLC so we can play it on stream. I thought it looks cool, but I can't get into software games. I think it looks good from what I'm understanding. I mean, like, someone said they were gonna buy it for me to play on stream. I mean, if someone bought it for me, I would definitely do a review on it. Like, I play anything y'all get me on stream. Like, Asa bought me Unpacking, and I hated it, but we got it refunded. I'm so bad at Mario Kart, but it would be fun. Guaranteed last. Okay, that's good, so I can win. This gal. Period, Diamond Dave. As you should. Hi, Jared. It's still wild that a 5-year-old game... I mean, yeah, it's literally... It's hilarious, actually, if you think about it. It's like, it's Nintendo's version... Oh my god, I never thought about it like this. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is Nintendo's version of Skyrim. That's nuts. If you think about, really think about it, it's true. Or GTA, true. Thy next foe, a guardian set loose. A closed-off city beyond the channel. It lusts for destruction. You spelled. And it will keep getting DLC for an eternity. Me when I have, like, grandkids. Oh my god, Mario Kart 8 is still there! Yeah, this one sounds hard. I mean, we're getting to endgame, so they're probably gonna be hard. How is Shadow of the Colossus going? Fisher, I think these games by this development studio, I was talking to Talos about it, this development studio with games, probably, I want to say, I would say probably most immersed I've felt playing a video game. I wouldn't say best games. I want them to be a little longer. even though I haven't finished this. But the immersion and like the atmosphere and the graphics and the soundtrack kind of take me to a little near automata kind of place, or automata, whatever you want to pronounce it. But it's really, I love the score, I love the graphics. It makes me great. This is not Naughty Dog. I don't remember what the studio. It's like ICO or something. Oh no, that's another game they made. I don't know what it's. I don't know the development studio. It's not Naughty Dog though. And just like Skyrim, I'm gonna play it on release anyways. Good consumer I am. You know, in a sense, the Nemesis network is kind of like a Skyrim or GTA 5 port. I come back every stream in the same blonde wig, and I play the same gay video games. Think about it. And you're a good consumer. Hi, Gray. Hi, Debaka. ICO. Oh, I was right. See, your boss fights make me want to play it. I want to play The Last Guardian! But I would have to buy a $25 gift card on PS... Because apparently, like, I don't know what it is. On my PlayStation Network account, I can't use my credit card. So, like, I have to buy fucking gift cards on Amazon to play and buy stuff on the store. So I would have to buy a $25 card opposed to the $20 that it is. I was at brunch today and someone clocked my Nemi Halloween merch, and it wasn't Mia. Who was it? Spill. I saw Gray. Me and Talos was telling me about it. They made this, Last Guardian, and a old game for the PS2, and I want to play them all. Literally like a horse's mouth. Sorry, it's even funnier because I just rewatched that season. At least we can expect a variety from you. Video games, no matter what you keep adding. No matter what they keep adding. I'm trying to am I reading that message wrong? I know what you're trying to say, but I'm like trying to understand. Fuck you! That's like Slay Mama the other day was like, I was trying to like, when we were reading the Mandela catalogs, because there were parts in the Mandela catalog that you had to read out loud. I was reading it and he literally in the Discord call goes, sound it out, you got it. Like, fuck you! Sound it out, you got it. Fuck off. Animal AI, yes, I saw that. That's probably gonna be my main thing. So I think maybe if I buy it today, it'll be a 2-stream game. I don't know, like It was Sav, they flew out from Providence. You're lying. No, you're not. Yeah, you are. You do really pick good games to stream. I'm obsessed. I found you through your Scooby-Doo PS2 stream. Oh! Fancy! That's amazing. Guest House, we were just talking about you. Yeah, I mean, I like to do, I actually took pictures of it yesterday. I have, maybe I'll send them in the Discord. I'll send it in the Discord. Oh, I don't think my phone's in here, though. I was talking about how that one time I was trying to read something in our Discord call, and you were like, okay, sound it out. Because House in the chat, the other House, actually, because y'all are both houses, but one's A-U-S, and the other one's O-U-S-E. Anyways. Let me go get my phone, and if you're not in the Discord, I should probably get a Discord command. Join the Discord, and I'm going to send all of the video games I have, and if y'all see something, shout. So, 1 second. I'm going to get my phone. Let me know if you're not in the Discord. I will let you in, because I know we have a strict security policy. You have to give us your social security number. Just kidding. Did I delete the pictures? I don't think I did. I did. Oh, y'all, I want to show y'all this. So, my mom, yesterday, was it yesterday? My mom yesterday, she had to get pictures for her work, like, company. Like, her job. They're asking for her, like, they need, like, a profile picture. And they have to be, like, HD. So she was like, can you do my makeup and my hair? And, like, we'll go out and can you use your, like, professional camera to take pictures of me? So I fully was, like, full photographer era on my mom. I did her hair and makeup. She looks so cute. Look at her! She is so adorable. Look at her smiling. She is so cute. She was like, you gotta make me smile. You gotta make me smile. And then I started talking about menopause, and she was like, cracking her shit up. She said something about, oh, she was like, you gotta make me laugh. You gotta make me feel loose. And I was like, make you feel loose? Not on the menopause. And she went, oh! Like, started cracking her shit up. She's like, I gotta get candid photos, candid photos. I was like, oh my god, this diva. Like, I know where I get it from. Okay, let me get this, like I said, let me get these pictures of the games. I let you into the Discord. I also let Savage Succubus into the Discord. I got y'all, I got y'all. I will post it in gaming. These are all the games I have. You are so... They are a piece of dog poop. Honestly, I've never met someone so conceited in my life. They don't even deserve to be in the ring. Have you even looked at them? I need to find that clip. Oh, 2 years, House. Slay. Should be longer, but, you know, that lunch break you took, yeah, it's fine. I'll forgive you for that. That's a lot of games, I know. I mean, I'm a collector, so it's more so me wanting to collect more than actually playing the games. Yeah, the ones with the, like, little dots on them, you can tell I got from the vintage store. Hold on. She is a piece of dog poop. That's a WWE reference. There was like this promo this girl was cutting, and she was like trying to talk crap about this other person, and instead of saying like something like intelligent and like funny, it was, she is a piece of dog poop. Like, not even piece of dog crap or like shit. It's just piece of dog poop. 1 year, hey, Delta Chair Fortnite. Thank you, Greg. 1 year already. That means 1 year ago we were playing Haunting Grounds. I always like associate you with like Haunting Grounds because that was like your first stream here, and I'm happy you stayed around. I love you so much, Greg. Thanks for hanging. I was actually looking at those VODs the other day because the Capcom creator program. I was like, yeah, I've played Capcom games. Replay Haunting Grounds? No. I mean, yes, I will, because I love Capcom games. Favorite Capcom game? Street Fighter. Just kidding. I mean, Resident Evils are up there. Is it cliche to say Resident Evil 5?
Yeah.
I don't know, there's just something about Sheva in Resident Evil 5. I love her so much. I wish they brought Sheva back. Oh. I don't think that's my favorite, but Resident Evil 5 definitely, like, holds a place in my heart because that was, like, the first ever Resident Evil game I played. And the chainsaw guys in that game, I used to shit my pants when I was a kid. When did that come out? Resident Evil 5 release date. 2009. I think I played it around release. So I was like 12. So yeah, it definitely scared me as a kid.
Yeah.
I wasn't 12. I was 10. 10? I was 10. I was 10.
Yeah.
I'm a 90s kid. Yeah, I was in the 90s. I know everything about the 90s. I'm a 90s kid. Like, do you just remember the 90s? Like, wow, what a time. Like, so crazy. Not 1890s. Go do your homework, you beast.
Yeah.
Me too. You were not born. Nar.
Yeah. Yeah.
Me when I lie. Mia was not born. Mia's not alive. Mia, why didn't you post that clip of me on Twitter of saying you're gay? You posted on your story, your Insta, but not on Twitter. It's like, why not? I like immediately went to your Twitter to go retweet it, but it wasn't there. I was like, damn, we lost.
Yeah.
I've never played Okami. I actually have it. You can see by the stuff I posted in Discord. But I've never played it. Just been sitting there.
Yeah.
What if the horse just, like, died? Really? Yeah, I've never played it. I saw Chalora play it a while ago. I think that was, like, my... Instead of me playing it. Because, like, I don't know. Like, sometimes when I see a other person streaming, like, especially on Stream Queens, I'm like... I like to refer my chat to go watch their playthrough of it. Especially if it's something that I'm not, like, invested in. I'm like, go watch, like... I know, Deer does a lot of Resident Evil, Revelations 1, so... And then Chalora does a lot of Sims and Okami and Chibi Robo. You think so? Okami? Really? You think it's a my type of game? That's surprising. Here, actually, while I have everybody's attention here, we're gonna do a little poll. What we do when finish this game. I have. I played Journey because my goal for this year is to hopefully play all the games that we showed off in the Indie Game Showcase. I totally even forgot about that at Stream Queens Con. Yeah, all the games I played are organized in my playlists. And I think in my description it says all of the stuff that I've completed. I'm gonna try to keep that updated for the most part. The one Pokemon vote? I'm not even looking. Stop the count! Okay, so the poll after this. What should the poll be after this? Who's paying for The Last Guardian? Chat or Nemesis Network? Chat, music, Slay Mama 123, or house music? Next poll. Is it this way? Have you played Classic Tomb Raider? I've been replaying. They're so slay. Actually, funny that you mentioned that. Slay Mama 123 in the chat has been streaming them to me in a Discord call just because I want to get an understanding of those games before I play them, and they're really hard. So I've been kind of like watching through their eyes. They're like, I didn't know they were so hard. Like, the mechanics and stuff look really difficult. I'll definitely replay the Tomb Raider games, the remakes, but... And I definitely want to play Angel of Darkness and, what's the one? Underworld. But I'm not sure of the originals. We'll see. Tomb Raider has been on my list of the year to complete. Tomb Raider, Fatal Frame, Silent Hill, and Resident Evil are my need-to-finish by the end of the year projects. Angel of Darkness, Angel of Darkness, the world is in your hands. I will fight until the end. Angel of Darkness. Thank you. Thank you so much. That was my first number of the night. That was my tip-in number. Not the anal of darkness. Why is it dark? Is this where we're supposed to go? This is kind of scary over here.
A non-dumpy donated $20. Get the Last Guardian shoes.
I thought, because I jumped off the horse as soon as that happened, I thought we were going to die. That scared the fuck out of me. Whoo, baby. Thank you, Anon Dumpy. Not anonymous, Anon Dumpy. Not anonymous. There's a difference. The way that was literally the scariest thing of this playthrough so far was that donation noise. Oh my god. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm currently waiting for Mr. Twitch to sign a nice check to me, but you know how it is. Twitch can never do anything right. So I appreciate it. Gotta pay the bills. Oh.
Kelp nougat crunch.
Am I supposed to be here? Are you saying you didn't like that? Right, House? It's so gorge. I'm really surprised you never, like, finish it or anything. It's, like, really fun. It holds up, like, really well for being 2017. It's, like, 5 years old already. So true. So true. Well, Maddie's, like, giving me the knowledge I need. Oh. All the references. Whoa! Whoa! Ah! I think about that every day. Just that clip out of context is fucking hilarious. I'm not sure, like, I really like what's happening. Oh! Is it gonna be like a snake monster? Like a... What are they called? Are they called... God, I have a bad feeling about this. It's gonna be a snake monster. It's gonna be a snake monster. Well, because in mythology, like, aren't they... Before, I don't want to get this wrong. Oh, a Nagini. Right? In mythology, they're, like, known to, like, live in this type of area. Isn't that the name of the snake in Harry Potter? Nagini! Oh. That's it? We already fought this guy. That's it? We already fought this guy. That's boring. Hi, Marshall. This is so... I'm actually kind of mad. This one has not... We already fought this guy. Oh, he can jump. Oh my god. When did Carson say it? That's the trigger warning. I'm like actually mad. Cause like I actually liked how all the monsters were different, and this one is just like a carbon copy. Hello. Okay. Not me being stun locked. Excuse me. Think about Maddie's makeup from the episode. I'm sorry, what? Sorry. I mean, like, I liked it a lot. That's what I meant. Shut up! I won't be silenced from the truth. You literally... You guys are gonna make me go insane. The second look? No, what was it? The one with the spiky, poopy ears? No. Y'all are insane for that one. Oh. I couldn't think of a word. And I said poopy because it's funny. Haha, poopy. When did I say that? Now you're just gaslighting me. I never said that. Like when her hair was like a nest. When? Oh, after they were eliminated. After they were eliminated, yes. I didn't say it was I meant like it no, you're twisting my words. No, you're twisting my words. You're twisting my words. I'm literally being gaslighted. You're yelling at me. You're yelling. I'm literally not. You're twisting my words. Thank you, Zeno. I put my hand on my hip. Why are we yelling? Exactly, why are we yelling? Why is everybody's scaring me for the boss fight after this? Everyone is so aggressive right now. Yeah, let's just talk about how I'm pretty. Scrolling back on your IG DMs to find it. Oh my god. Where is this thing? Not Mia being like, Drag Race fans are toxic, and then Mia's like, wait, you said something about Denali? Your life is over. Look! They're yelling! They're literally yelling! House, you're not out of the sun either. You are in the same boat. The smiley face. Oh fuck. I'm not here. I think it was like, I know the look Mia's talking about. You have to scroll back an entire year of DMs, by the way. That's so funny. Boss fight's dumb as fuck. Especially for like end game, like what the hell? Why would I do that? But they already did! The 10th Colossus was the same thing! That's why I'm so mad about it! So stupid. Am I crazy? This is the exact same thing. I'm not crazy, actually. It's a willow colossus. House? Question mark? I question mark you. I think I was correct in that, Mia. Can you send me the post? Oh. I mean, honestly, I didn't think I would say this, but I actually love Lady Camden. Lady Camden's kind of slaying. That's my queen. What? Peachy, thank you for the follow. What is your problem, House? When Lady Camden is literally eating every challenge. Excuse. Oh! You are sick! Stop, that is so mean. You're not sorry. Oh, so when I don't like one Bosco look, it's a crime, but you can say you Lady Camden makes you sick and it's fine. Okay. That's fine. I see where this is going. The ultimate. Yeah, I got crushed. Was I supposed to do that? I don't think. Where is this so-called top of the tower? I stand with Lady Camden. That's my queen. Not our character's the top. What? This is the worst day of my life. Y'all are making me nervous talking about Drag Race and shit. I'm sweating. Like, I need to put on deodorant. You mean go up here? Oh, this way? I feel like we Oh. But where'd he go? Come back. I'm sorry, am I boring you? Where did he go? The way he was literally done. He said, I'm out of here. Bro left. There you are. Where did he go? Oh, he's over there. Ow! I'm gonna get stuck. Fuck! Tickle, tickle. Good night, Kirsten. Well, that wasn't very nice. What did this guy do to us? I'm doing so well. I'm saying your name correctly. Right? Right or wrong? Everyone is gaslighting me tonight. I can't do this. I can only take Talos doing it, okay? I hear it enough from Talos. I don't need the entire chat gaslighting me. Mia, that message is gaslighting. That is literally gaslighting 101. How did that work? Hello? Okay, I'll just be quiet then. Because everybody just got me frustrated and now I'm the problem, so I'll be quiet. Got it, got it, got it. Oh, there we go. Please. Okay, we got it. I need deodorant. I'm sweating so bad. Yeah, everybody's making me nervous. I'm sweating. Anxiety sweat. Can't tell if it's just like hot in my office or maybe because I'm wearing a turtleneck. Okay, everybody's been expecting this next one. I don't know what to expect. Thank you, I need it. It acts like a sentry to a destroyed city. Yeah, I stand by what I said. It does!
Out!
Apparently when you finish the game, there's a secret fountain you can go to. I liked their look from the recent episode. I actually thought, I will be honest, I think their, like, paint could be, like, better. And I think their paint in the recent episode looked good. Like, she said she did bigger lips. I think she exaggerated her eyeshadow a little bit. Which is bold for a TV show. Like, if I got on Drag Race, I wouldn't do anything different. That's why, like, when Daya does all these, like, makeups, I'm like, that is really bold. Like, props to them. Because, like, you don't know if it's gonna look good on camera or not. Also, you only have that hour and a half to get ready. This is so pretty. Oh my god. This is gorgeous. Wait, stop. I want to stare. That is so pretty. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I'm sweating so bad. I don't know why. Oh my god, I'm sweating so bad. Why am I sweating so bad? Oh my god, it's really gross. Yeah. I mean... Yeah. I didn't like Daya's hair. I'll be honest. Like, good for them. I know, literally, I'm in a turtleneck, that's why I'm... I thought it looked, like, too much like a wig. I mean, obviously it is, but, like... I wanted, like... There were ponytails up top, but it was, like, teased in the center. I wanted that part in the center to be flat, and then the ponytails to go out and larger. If that makes sense. It just looked like right... I don't like when those wigs do that. Like, they're, like, really big in the middle and then puffed out. Like, I'm not a big fan of that. It's just, like, a pet peeve of mine. I agree. I mean, I have them all on Prime Video, but it's because I pay for them. Like, if I don't see the episode live, I'll just watch it. Like, the Untucked, I didn't watch until afterwards. Yeah, the original came out, and then they had a remake of the original, and then they did this one, which was a remaster, like, beautiful re-engine thing. In terms of Drag Race, I posted this last night on Twitter, and I deleted it because, like, I didn't really think it would get... I thought it would get misconstrued over text, but I really don't like on Drag Race, and this is like the last conversation of Drag Race we're gonna have for the night, because I'm really tired of every stream I have that we talk about Drag Race. Like, I love the show, it's great, but like, it shouldn't be like every fucking stream I talk about Drag Race. Like, I love it, it's cool, but like, what else is there in the world right now? Like, I don't want my entire life being a TV show. Sorry, that sounds harsh, but like, it's kind of exhausting. But, in my opinion, I really don't like that... Okay, before I say this, everything said on the show last night was completely valid. I think Daya was very... Let's go here. I thought Daya was very valid in their opinion on if someone with a different body type wore the outfit that Georges wore, it would not go over well, which is facts. We can agree, but it's we won't send hate to Georges for that. It's not Georges' fault. Like, good for them. They have an amazing body. It's not. It's like, why would you go out of your way to give Georges hate? My problem is that the show has created a phenomenon of creating trauma by just purposely putting people in the top and the bottom on purpose to make people mentally exhausted on purpose. That I don't like watching. That isn't good TV. That, watching someone spiral mentally because the producers think it's good TV is not fun to watch. I don't care. Like, it's not... Like, if I put myself in that position on TV and that was happening to me, I would feel like shit. So, I don't like watching it. That's just my opinion, but like, seeing the last few seasons that they do that, like UK versus the World, they're doing it with Baga. They're purposely keeping Baga safe to make people frustrated. They're doing it with Blue kinda as well. They're like making Blue not get critiques because they want Blue to freak out. They're doing it with Daya on US right now. They did it kinda with But do you see what I mean? Like, it's just, they're purposely going out of their way to not reward great drag. They're just making it a like it's like Housewives. Like, it's so gross. Like, I don't like it. Jan, yeah, like, they do it with a lot of contestants, and I just don't like it. Like, if I would rather at, like, earlier seasons where they reward success and there's authentic drama, like, I think season 3 is a great example of rewarding success and drama comes on its own. Like, period. Like, you don't need to purposely go out of your way to make someone spiral and feel like garbage to do, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't like watching it. It's not fun. It's not fun. Like, you can literally just put Daya in the top position and give Lady Camden a win, opposed to making them spiral and freak out because you want good drama to promote on your commercials. I don't like it. And then another thing is that, like, personally, I love Georgis's look. And, like, what Daya said was facts. But it's just the nature of the beast that Drag Race is that they get hate. So, like, why put the contestants in that position? Why go out of your way to make it... Drag Race loves being like, don't send hate. But they purposely make it so contestants get hate. They are doing it on purpose so contestants have to deal with hate. And WoW isn't doing anything. VH1 isn't doing anything. You know who has to deal with it? The contestants. And they have to sit there and watch and get upset online. Because all they get is hate. Georges is getting hate. Who just won in... as much as I don't like it, Baga's probably getting hate. Somewhat. But you know what I'm saying? Like, they have to deal with it because Drag Race doesn't do anything about it. Because they're going out of their way to make people frustrated and they just sit and watch. That's my problem. That's why I don't like talking about it on stream. That's why I don't like, it's just, like, frustrating. Like, it's just, like... Yeah, that's my rant. Hi, Nintendo Mav. Happy to see you. I just think that, like, everybody should get fair love, support, and what they deserve. Like, we can reward good drag. Yeah, I agree. At the end of the day, the producers don't give a fuck about a single thing unless it's gaining or money. It's obvious. No, I'm not stressed out over it. It's just like... I mean, I guess it is a little, like, having to come on stream and talk about a TV show that I just, like, am not really enjoying anymore, because, like, it's just a cash grab at this point. Like, I'll watch it, and they're doing great, and I like seeing my friends on TV, but, like, I don't like coming onto my safe space here, and everybody's like, did you see Drag Race? Let's talk about Drag Race. Oh my god, like, someone didn't win? Let's get frustrated and send them hate. Like, I'm not trying to give someone hate. Like, I don't like giving people hate. Like, we can, like, kiki and, like, funny shade, but, like, it's just, like, I don't know. I guess it's also sort of, like, conceited in a way for me to be like that, I guess. Because I'm like, let's not talk about Drag Race, let's talk about me. But, like, also, I think that's valid. Let's talk about me, let's talk about video games, let's talk about stuff going on here. I mean, I'm not saying that we should never talk about Drag Race. I'm just saying, like, I feel like it's because, like, Drag Race is on, like, every day nowadays. It's like, oh my god. I feel like, I don't know, I feel like people don't go into, like, other I don't want to name names, but like there are some stream queens that I know they never talk about Drag Race. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, Meow. Thank you, Jared. There's a time and place. Yeah, I agree. No, and I don't want it to be like, oh, we can't talk about Drag Race. Like, I'm just saying, like, that's just my opinion on it. I don't want anyone to be afraid. Like, I feel like a lot of people are afraid to say stuff in my chat. Like, I'm not trying it to be that way. A lot of people are scared of me. I'm not sure I like that phenomenon. Am I scary? Yeah. The answer is yes. We don't talk about Drag Race. I agree, Gray. Wait, why to what, Venus? Oh. I mean, I just ranted about it for like an hour. TLDR, the show is just like kind of toxic nowadays, so it's kind of not fun to talk about on stream. And that, yeah. What? Should we make a command for?
Yeah.
The time and place. Oh, do we have to go in there now? We were here earlier.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh, we don't. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, we don't talk about Bruno. It's stuck in my head. Don't talk about Bruno. No. What's that noise? Oh, there's an entrance right here. Okay, stay over there. You can't get in here. Dark in here. Scary. Hey, Graceful Death, how you doing? I need to collect myself. Collecting. Oh dear God, this looks scary. I'm worried. Everybody's saying that this is what they're looking forward to this boss. This is number 13, Burger King foot lettuce. Burger King foot lettuce. The last thing you want on your burger. I love Lost Ark. I played it last night. It was so fun. I already know what this is gonna be. This is gonna be like that one No More Heroes boss. This is gonna be exactly like the No More Heroes boss. I don't remember what server I'm on, but I kind of want to like mess around with stuff. I really like the gunslinger class. It's really fun. But I also don't like how some classes are locked behind gender, but it's fine. I guess. Dear God. Oh no. Yo, he's huge. Humongous. Oh dear. Oh my. Oh my. Hi. I assume we have to climb up this. Why am I so shocked that he's big? This game is called Shadow of the Colossus. Like, the game is big. You're big. Oh god, stop. 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 Stop running at me. Stop. How do I get up? Do they have wussies? Only sometimes. When they feel like it. This is not the final boss. We are close though. We have 3 more after this. 2 more. I don't know math. What is math? The way he just looked at me, he was like, "Are you serious?" Yo, what? So everybody said this gave everybody a tough time. I wonder why. Oh, I thought we could jump on it. Yeah, I'm definitely trying to find a height that's an advantage, but that's a little hard. We have to get up there, but why can't I? It has to be something with him. I'm down here. Let's see how long this takes me to figure out. No spoils, please. Gotta be something with him. Do something, Charlie. Do something! Hit me in the face or something. Yes! Pog. Poggy Woggies. here, buddy. Hee-hee. Hoo-hoo. I'm over here. Hello. Tickle, tickle. All right. Oh, wow. We gotta do a lot. Again, again! Oh, wow, you gotta do a lot. Die. Do I have to get him to hit like right here? There's no way. There's like one. Oh my god! No, you can climb up. Oh my god. I didn't even see that. I feel like he's gotta hit one more thing. Maybe not. Because I'm playing the HD version. Uh-oh. I'm on that. I was on that. That wasn't nice. You had to do all that just to go back up? That's a little crazy. Literally just died. Looks like he has a big pee-pee. My character is so non-binary vibes. Please no. Just a little guy. Look how pretty this is over here, though. Very pretty. Not find its hidden vitals. What do you think we're doing? Hello? Hi. think I can make that jump. Maybe I can. Ah! Enough. There's another vital spot. Just wants his back scratched. Shit, me too. No! Damn it. No! Where's its last vital? Am I gonna have to break the bridge again? There's no way. Interesting. I almost didn't make that. Is the last one in his chest? Where is it? Did anyone see it? Or am I crazy? Where is it? Find it either. Yeah, I think it wants us to break the bridge again to break his shoulder. Which I'm not very loving, but I think that's what it wants us to do to break his armor. No, wait, I don't want to redo this again. We're here. Hopefully this works. Didn't ruin its armor. Did it troll me? Fully could have killed me, but you know. So what was the so confused. Can you show me your vitals? Wait, he's just standing. Oh, he's Angie. He's stomping. Oh, he's so cute. make that jump. Ow. God bless the gays. LGBT. I didn't know if you hold it, it goes like further. Maybe I should have recognized that. Wait. Wait a minute now. Wait, come over here, come over here, come over here. Over here. I want you to try something for me, buddy. Right here. Perfect. Okay, it doesn't work. I thought if I could make a pillar fall onto his armor, it would work, but it's not working. I do not know. I feel like we have to drop something on him, but it's like not working out. I don't know where his other vital could be. It's definitely under his armor, but I can't get it off. I guess I'll try jumping on him again. Like, I don't know. I almost missed. Not his head. I'm like almost positive it's on his back. Wait, is it that right? No, it's just white mirror. It's gotta be right. Like... Oh! No, please. Oh, it's right there. It's on his arm. You see it. Oh. You got it. You got it. You got it. You got it. Just keep on swimming. Just keep swimming. Come on. What? That wasn't it? What? What? Oh my god, there's more. I'm not crazy. I did the wrong spot, lol. But wait, there's more. Oh, I forgot I have pizza. Down here. No, that's not the... You stupid. You stupid head. I shoot you in the pee-pee, you stupid pee-pee. There you go. Ah, shot you in the pee-pee. Pee-pee. So like, what now? So like, what now? So what now? Where's your G spot now? Where is it? I don't like calling it a vital. I'd rather call it that. No! Oh my god. That was so close. Oh no, I don't think I can jump up now. Oh no, we're good. Where's your thing? Maybe it's on his other arm? Maybe it's on his stomach now? I don't know. Thought I saw it. He really wants me off his arm. He does not like it. I don't see one. Damn, this one's hard. Step on me. Maybe? looks like he's winding up for a hit, but I don't think he is. Why is this the hardest one so far? Oh. That was bad. It's gotta be under this plating. But how do we get rid of the plating? Yeah, it's taking me a very long time too. Wait, I might have an idea. Can you stand up straight? Oh, my idea didn't work. I don't know. I really don't. Okay, it has to be some... Okay. It has to be something with his fists, because he dropped his weapon. Thinking. Thank you for the follow, Otis. I think maybe there's no way. I don't know. So true. Like the wrestler. Is it one of the hands? The hands are covered in gauntlets, so that usually means no. Did I just like not get his vital on his thing? I feel like we have to take his armor off, but I just can't get the armor off. Ow. We have to find a way to get his armor off. So I'm like trying to find something that like he could punch or like destroy so it like falls on him. That's why I'm thinking over here. The last time he was over here, he didn't want to hit it. Welcome in, Otis. Okay, I want you to like punch something. It's not what I wanted. It is really cool. I'm just stuck. I just don't know. I need like a boulder. Anybody got some boulders just like laying around? I need a tissue. Oh my god. My nose is so itchy. Maybe he'll do something correct while I'm not paying attention. What's he doing? How do I get on top of... Can I please have a hint? I'm like really stuck. Like really stuck. I don't want the answer, I want a hint. Ow. Oh! Okay, I think I know the answer too. Right here, big boy. Damn. Punch me! Damn. Oh! Do it again. Do it again. Slap me. Whoa! Oh! It's in the palm of his hand? What? You cheeky fuck! Ah! You little bitch! That is so troll. Die! Period. That was so troll. That one was really hard. Yeah. That was nuts. It's Friday. The controller is vibrating in my lap. Slash moan. I have that one and then Sunday. Oh, this is the last one? By the way, we have 2 more. The ritual is ready. The wish is nearly granted. Oh wow, final boss. Sus!
Ooh, my coffee enema is kicking in.
Oh. I like the voices. The I. The echo. I wish I had like voice mods. Remember when you used to get banned on Twitch if you did a voice mod? That was a thing, I remember it. Trust. Oh wait, all the white doves. Like 1,000 doves. Like 1,000 doves. I am Lady Gaga, it's true. What? The doves respawned? Interesting. My game crashes because of all the doves spawning. Spawning? Everybody in chat was cheering that I beat that boss. So true. Everybody was like, shit! On my way to fight the last Colossi. Allegedly. Allegedly. Is it right here? Oh, is it in the spawn area? No. It has to be at the bottom of the map. I think it's at the bottom of the map. Go around. This is not the right way. Go.
Yeah! Yeah!
I think we can get there if we go this way. Thanks, Brian. Oh, my snifflies. My coffee enema is kicking in. I can't believe my ID is gonna expire soon. Can you believe? Am I that old? I am decrepit. I can't. I never thought I'd see the day. Well, I didn't think I was gonna live this long, so. I am an elder. I'm your grandthey. Don't you dare, please. Great grandthey. It's true. The rumors are true. Hop on that horse. Yep, I knew it. It was at the bottom of the map. I knew it! My mind is so powerful. What is this soundboard? Oh, it's Baby Yoda dying. Glad I still have that. How do I get down there? Excuse me. Oh, there's a path over here. Oh my god, The Path by Lord. My favorite song. Not favorite, but it's a good song. Is solar power about doing drugs? So it is about doing drugs? I didn't know that until today. That's actually hilarious. Hi, house music! In real life emoji. I do the in real life emoji of the Twitch emote smiley face. This place looks scary. We're about to die. This apparently is the last Colossus. Are we ready? Are we ready, chat? Are you ready, kids? Aye, aye, Captain. The wall of smiley faces. My smile is so ugly. I want to get my teeth done. Like, if I had all the money in the world, I would get my teeth fixed. I got these fucking teeth fixed. Which ones? The bottom ones. That's a Jada Essence Hall quote. Thank you. No, I literally hate my smile. Okay, so growing up, I made fun of for 3 things, and they're all pretty problematic, which, like, looking back, like, I'd be like, oh my god, you're so funny, stop. Well, 4. Obviously being gay, but, in terms of appearance, everybody would make, like, anti-Semitic jokes about, like, my nose, which I've always been insecure about, which is terrible, but, like, different time, everybody was like, oh, haha, funny anti-Semitic joke. Like, it was like it was definitely a time. I hated it. It was horrible. But everybody would make a very anti-Semitic joke about my nose. So that's one of my biggest insecurities. Another one is my teeth. I don't know why or what, but I just don't think that's right. Making fun of people's teeth. And, like, even on, like, TV, like, you know when, like, Drag Race contestants, I know we were just like, don't talk about Drag Race, but, like, when they, like, come back and they get their teeth fixed, like, I just think it's so messed up for people to, like, make fun of people's teeth on TV. Like, that's not right. And my teeth is always, like, yellow. I don't know. And then I also, speaking of anti-Semitic stuff, I was watching, like, one of my favorite YouTubers, like, back in the day. Like, they were my favorite. Not nowadays, because I watch their content and it's, like, really problematic. But, like, I was watching, and they literally, word for word, describe the anti-Semitic, like, slur. They, like, literally describe it and, like, laugh about it. And it's still on YouTube, which I find very strange, but, like, I put it on for, like, white noise in the background, and then, like, I woke up to it, and I was like, interesting, funny, how cool. Yeah. I would say the word, but I don't want to get in trouble for it, but it's very just, like, anti-Semitic. Not that one. There's another one. Like, I know the one you're probably thinking of. I don't know, like, growing up, like, that edgy humor of, like, iFunny humor about, like, just being, like, really anti-Semitic was horrible. I know, like, obviously people have it worse, but, like, just, like, that era of, like, cringe humor and making fun of people that are, like, Jewish is horrible. It was horrible. Even I participated in it because it just like you thought like it would just like chill the area around you because like I felt like I had to make the jokes so like the people around me wouldn't think like negatively, if that makes sense. Yeah, it's terrible. I mean, I went to Hebrew school every Sunday when I was a kid. I dropped out, but I was on par. Okay. Goodbye. If it wasn't obvious, it was a game over. The way it just like the very harsh cut to game over. LMAO. Yeah, that's my rant though. Oh no, we have to run all the way back. Now we can hold X to skip. I guess we have to bring aggro.
Yeah! Yeah! Yeah!
I guess aggro can make the jump, but I can't.
Yeah! 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 Yeah!
Can you go faster? Hi, CJ. Thank you for 300 biddies. How you doing? By the way, hi, Pineapple Baby. Getting your teeth fixed is the only societal acceptable. Yeah, I wish it wasn't, like, I don't know. I wish it wasn't so expensive. I would get it done, like, today. As long as they put me under for, like, 3 days. I bet it hurts a lot. Like, the day after. Do you think? How does that go? I don't want to know. Oh my god, that makes me cringe. Like, getting your teeth done. Like, getting them fixed. Don't they take out all your teeth and replace them? How does that even work? But how does that work? How do they just not fall out? Blah, blah, blah. I cringe. I'm like getting anxious. Not show it on TikTok. Ah! But what if they fall off? What if the glue, like, how strong is that glue? There aren't any colors, so maybe that's part of it. But there aren't any. So maybe that's part of it, the way you said it. There aren't any. Oh my god, I just like, I'm like scared of dentists, so like stuff like that really scares me. Like I'm cringing and like holding over like a lawn chair right now. Like, ugh. If it wasn't obvious, I'm scared of doctors. I also saw someone tweet, like, if you're scared of doctors, grow up. Excuse me, I have trauma. I don't like that phenomenon either. Like, if someone's like, if you're scared of something, grow up. Excuse me, some of us have trauma. Don't tell us to grow up. Such a weird take.
Abro! Abro! Abro!
When I got my wisdom teeth done, like the day after, I was still in pain, but I just immediately ate French fries. I shouldn't have, but I did.
Arrow!
So I'm not gonna fall this time.
Arrow!
Can Aggro not make it? Oh, he can! So you're supposed to ride him to the top.
Yeah!
We're gonna fall and die. I know it. Oh! No! No!
Arrow!
Are you kidding me? Not the time! Are you kidding me? What was the reason for killing the horse? What was the reason? What was the reason? Tell me, quickly. What was the reason? What the fuck was the reason? What did he do to you? Literally, what the fuck was that for? I'm so... Are you serious? That wouldn't have happened if I could have just made the jump. Oh. That was so... I didn't expect that to happen. I mean, I kind of saw it happening, but I really did not want to believe the rumors. Like, why? I'm so... I can't believe. Horses can't swim. The way I would be crying, but, you know, I'm used to people dying around me, so it's fine. Desensitized to that now. That was, I can't. I have no words. Where's this Colossus? He's gonna get a piece of my mind. He's gonna get these nuts. So what now? Why even finish the game? That's just my opinion. Aggro didn't deserve that. This looks fun. Don't tell me that's a moving Colossus. Ah. 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 That's great. Also, it's raining. How are your hands on fire? That doesn't make sense. That's not real. Oh. Okay, but Miss Gown. All right. Oh my god. Oh my Jesus! Okay. I lie here, Dad. You can't do that. That's cheating. Why are we like in a war zone right now? Well, we are in the trenches. It's like war. I'm glad you're feeling so happy, House. You are just so silly. Well, I'm having a lovely time playing Minecraft. Maybe we'll find diamonds. Minecraft. Okay. Alright. You summon Maddie. Can you calm down up there? Oh my god, calm it down. Are you good? Are you finished? I guess not. Oh my god. Stop. Oh, there's a barricade. There's a barcade. I wish. I love a barcade. Ah! I miss working at a barcade. I cry. I'm literally snapping right now. Like, literally slaying and snapping. What's happening? Not the Toesy Woesies. The Colossi Toesy Woesies. You are literally such a quirky girl. Why did I just fall? Can I climb this? The answer is no. Can I climb this? Oh. It's just really dark. Can I climb this? I can. It's just really dark. Can I climb this? I can. Oh. If I fall, I will have a breakdown. Just saying. What are you gonna do about this, huh? Right in the booty. Oh, it wants me to jump on its hand. Fuck! Hello? Yes, hand modeling. You better give. Oh god. Yes, hairy hands. Harry Hamlin. Have you met my husband, Harry Hamlin? I don't even know where I am right now. This Colossus is a gorgeous hand model. Hello. Not yet, Mia, not yet. I'm gonna fall. So, I don't know what needs to happen here, but something needs to happen. I'm not sure the intent of what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't get it. Do I have to jump? That was not the answer. Not the answer. Don't understand. It wants... I see where it wants me to go. Okay. I can't make that. There's no way. There's no way you make that jump. Why am I on the palm of its hand again? What's happening? Get up. Can I can't walk through the fire. Where am I supposed to? Okay. Makes no sense, but okay. Rage quit. Not what I wanted, but okay. Really getting annoyed. Well, YOLO. Nope. Stop moving! You a bitch! Mom, thank you for the follow. Stop. My pinky hurts. my god. Stop resisting! Bitch! Ah! The clipping. Alright, now we get to see what's going on. Actually get to understand the game a little bit. What's it like to have a horse? Mine's dead. Sad, isn't it? Yeah, maybe don't kill my horse. So rude. I'm gonna turn it up. What's the tea, Christine? Oh. I want to know what's going on. Jump, I dare you. Jump into the water. The water. Uh-oh. Right. I don't get teleported back? So rude. Oh. Bitch, I'm dead. So he just transferred his life to her. I mean, I could have told you that, but... Uh-oh. Hi. Oh. Oh. Yoinks. Oh. Oh, but you look rough. Oh, I'm a zombie. Oh. Not it being a forbidden spell. Uh-oh. Not this. Shoot him! You won't do it. Oh, they really did it. Oh! Not the squirting. Girl. You didn't get his vital point. Oh, he's like part of the Colossus now. He like gets it. Wait a second. He's becoming one of the shadow people. Oh. Oh my god. He's becoming a Colossus! Oh my god. That's gaggy. Oh my god, I play as this dude? Yo. This is nuts. These controls suck. These controls really suck. okay. I get a bad ending because the controls suck. It's okay. They just left her there? That seems weird. No! 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 You can't have me! Please, no, you can't take me! No! No, Saki! No, Saki! Please! Not him doing all that for nothing. Poor guy. And a dead horse. Damn. Feels bad. L for that guy. Y'all better run. Uh-oh. That guy behind is real lucky. You about to die. You better run. You better pick up the pace. She's gonna wake up and be like, where is everyone? She's gonna be stuck there. Poor girl. Where's the McDonald's? I feel like, can we go? Girl, she's knocked out. This is me when I have melatonin. This was literally me last night when I had a melatonin. 11 hours sleep. Never waking up. Girl, you missed it. You missed everything. You missed it all. Do you want to watch the tapes? I mean, like, he knew he would probably have to give his life to save her. So it's not really an L. Like, he knew. Like, the thing told him. I just woke up. What's going on? She's so lost. She's like, where is everyone? She's like, this isn't my bedroom. This isn't where I died. Don't. Don't speak to it. Don't. Argo? Oh my god, he's alive! He just has a limp! That actually would make me cry. That makes me so sad. Stop. That is so sad. Not Argo making it home. I'm happy for him. In memory of Susan, my heart at the studio just every day. Oh, someone passed away in their studio. Sad. There's more in the credits. I put my controller down. I did it! Well, there's still more. I can't have an opinion on it. I gotta watch. Ow! Cracked my jaw. So, like, I'll wait before I say something. No, I'll wait. We're not done. It's not over, baby. It's not over! Sweetie. Gorge. It's not over. I would say this is probably the prettiest game we've played. Agree, disagree? I'm not sure, really. Maybe near Replicant in this tie, but this is pretty up there for me. Good price. Good game, good price. 20 bucks? Solid. Really solid for 20. That's what I'm saying. Make a good ass game that isn't that long for 20 bucks. Game of the year for me. Is it that bad though? Like, he's dead. Like, what do you mean? Like, atone for what you did. Is it really that bad though? Like, I know he brought back like a demon, but like, he paid the price. And then he got his relative back. I would assume this is his sister. It can't be his lover. She looks young. Like, that seems weird. I think it's his sister. Uh-oh. Don't go near that. Is it empty or does it have a dead body in it? Oh! What? Not a baby? What the fuck what is that baby doing in there? Get rid of that. It has demon horns. The horse is like, I'm not dealing with that shit. Bye. The horse said, I'm out of here. I'm with the horse. I'm with Argo. Bye. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Not her being like, yes, I will raise this demon baby. It's like, yeah, I love to cater to the demons. I mean, I guess she kind of has to, right? Because she's like, she got resurrected from the dead by the demons. So I guess it's kind of just like what she has to do now. Girl, I'd be like, kill me now. Like, I don't want to raise a demon baby. I'd rather be dead. Where's Argo going? What's the difference, am I right? What? What is the implication of this? Aren't deers symbols of innocence? Are they? But the demon baby has horns. It has horns. I don't think there's anything innocent about that thing. Okay, so am I missing something? Is the ending supposed to be open-ended? Like, is there potentially gonna be a sequel? Like, I don't get it. I think you might be onto something there, Kate. I think she's pure and the demon is evil, and that I think that's like the implication of all the doves and this like kind of crow kind of bird. And then like the deer, and then like her in all white, and him with like all dark hair like Lucifer. This is a sequel? Bitch, this is the squeakquel? Not this being the squeakquel. Well, I'd say pretty epic. I'd enjoy it. I would say 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10, definitely. I don't know if it's a 10 out of 10. I don't know if there's a lot of games I would give a 10 out of 10, but I would say this is pretty up there. I don't want to do time attack, please. I'm good. I'm literally fine. Oh. Oh, is this the opening cutscene? Yeah, this is the opening cutscene. Well, we beat it. So my only thing is that I've heard whisperings that everybody was like, all the Colossus are innocent, but is that true? I don't think they are, because they're technically they're being powered up by a demon. I don't think that's necessarily true. Because the demon at the end of the game is like, oh, I'm taking forms of all 16 because you scattered my body in 16 different things. So I don't know if saying they're innocent and they did nothing wrong is true. Correct me if I'm wrong. I just don't think that's true. Oh, that makes more sense. The demon wanted you to kill them so he could have their power. Oh. That makes more sense. No, and that's also true, Red. I know a lot of them they're like different, like, lore and like mythology around them. They're not, I know in different mythologies, demons aren't like, I am demon. They like actually like, they can help and like trick you more so than like being outright like, I'm scary. So I think, that's a pretty good twist for the ending too, because it's like, the entire game you're listening to a god, but you're really listening to a demon. Which, like, you can pretty much find out, like, it's pretty obvious, but if you just didn't know, like, it's pretty cool. Yeah, I think they're guardians. Interesting. Right, totally. I think they were I think the Colossus were meant to seal away the demon. Like, when you unlock all 16, you unleash the demon. But, like, I'm confused on, like, what the spell is. Like, did the demon, like, why did the demon revive the girl anyways? Do you think he revived her to raise the baby? Because, like, technically that's the new demon guy. I think that has something to it. Who knows? Good game. I don't know the lore. Anyways. We move on to the next game in the series. Well, not really. It's not anything like the game in the series, but we are going to move into not Pokemon today, unfortunately. I'm so sorry to Pokemon fans. We are going to play some Last Guardian. Station gift card. Not $100. Out of here. Get out of your mind! Is there no $15? Damn it. I want just 15. You poopy head. You cockadoodie. I have to pee so bad. I'm gonna get this installing and then I'll do my BRB and then I'm also gonna change. I shake my booty.